look how far we've come, all the things we've done, did it all with love, beauty from the bottom up. All I want is you, you're my favorite view, but there's nothing more, girl, you make my heart beat.
And we are back.
Welcome back, you beautiful creatures.
Season 3, episode 24, I think, of the To Be Better podcast. I think. We take a moment to just appreciate how great my wife looks over there. It looks like she's, wrong camera. Looks like she's going to Woodstock. She'd be playing like Jefferson Airplane or The Doors or something. I love it. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Got some turquoise going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Got some amethyst in here. Doing a thing.
I feel like we should have bought a couple of those little cages just to be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be in Sarasota tomorrow.
Yeah. So we don't really have a whole lot going on right now. We are going to be recording a lot today.
Yeah. I also have a woman's call today.
Speaking of which, you should probably plug that.
Oh, in case you guys didn't know, we're not just live for Patreon right now.
Son of a bitch.
Everyone here, now it should just be Patreon.
Yep.
Right?
Should be.
I have spots in my women's group. Both of them, my top tier women's group and my women's Thrive group. So if that is something that you were thinking about doing, I believe I have 2 spots available in my top tier women's group, and I have about 15 spots available in my women's Thrive group. They both get a bunch of things. Top tier women's group gets a lot more than the women's Thrive group. Both group get mini challenges, phone calls monthly, private Discord chats, homework challenges, book prescriptions, the whole 9 yards. And from the feedback that I'm getting, everybody's very much enjoying the group. And 9 times out of 10, if a woman has to leave, it's due to finances.
Yeah.
Not because they're not getting something out of it.
Yeah. And I believe that to be true because a lot of the times when people leave, they come back.
They do.
So
They do.
I also have men's slots available, but my men's group is not quite as involved. You guys do a lot more in terms of women are emotional creatures and men are not. So there's a lot more support that goes into your group than that goes into mine. But
yes,
we got the same 10 or 15 dudes have been in my group since the start. So
I love that.
They're obviously getting value.
Yeah. One of the biggest perks for my top tier women's group in my mind is the private DM access to me. Can problem solve your life. We can celebrate wins together. If you need to word vomit or need some grounding, I'm available. I am not available every second of every day, so you might not get a response immediately. If it is, I'm having a panic attack, emergency, panic attack, big letters, because I'll see that on my preview on my phone. Otherwise, when I'm able to give you my undivided attention because you deserve my undivided attention, you will receive it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely important to remember that we do have lives, like not live streams, but like we have our own individual lives that we live, and sometimes we get very busy, but we do the best we can to make sure that we can stay on top of all that shit. I really don't have anything to talk about. The only new thing going on in life right now that Patreon doesn't know about is that the van is getting worked on next week. I messaged Charles this morning to ask him if he's going to be able to install a power outlet on the inside of the van for that battery bank thing, that 3,000 watt battery bank thing that I have, so that we can have AC inside the van running without being plugged in outside.
That'll be dope.
So,
I don't have an ugly nail anymore.
That's pretty cool.
She's back. It's taken 2 months, but I feel pretty. I did like a jade green color. Look at how gorgeous. Kind of muted because he put it on top of pink, but I'm vibing with it. I am somebody who used to just get black on my nails. So I'm venturing away from like the super soft feminine colors and I'm trying earthy tones now. I might do like a dirt red, like in Arizona next. We'll see.
Somebody asked if the van has a power inverter already in it. I have an AC that's in the van already, like the one that's in the ceiling, that's ran to a breaker box. It's got a plug on the outside that plugs into a 220 that goes to a power outlet. So that if we're at like an RV park, we can plug in and use that. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't have one on the inside of the van. And the Blue Eddy AC 3000 that I have, or 300 or whatever it is, does have one of those plugs. I'm just not going to put a $2,000 battery bank on the outside of the van while we're sleeping in a Walmart parking lot.
Right.
I can just set it on the inside and plug it in, turn the breaker on. And if I can do that, that'll be better. So that's the goal. We're getting a bed installed this week or next week. We're getting cabinets installed next week. And then we have to decide whether or not we're going to actually put a shower in there. But I don't think I want to do that. I think that I'd rather just go to a gym if I need to shower, or like, wipe myself down with dude wipes if I have to. I don't want to cut into the van to that extent.
I would rather get like a hang up thing.
Yeah, like, right.
I mean,
like,
I'm even cool with a bucket with holes drilled into the bottom with a stopper.
Well, we have that Rome spray tank.
That works.
But putting that on top of the van, I'd have to get a roof rack and a ladder to be able to fill it and do all that shit, which is not a big deal. It's just more money. And I didn't want to spend a lot. I've been doing a little at a time because the van shit's expensive.
It is.
So, question about the private men's tier. How long do the monthly live group calls usually go for? It goes until we're done. We've had them last as long as 2 hours. The problem is we'll get in there and I'll go, okay, guys, here's what we're doing for the month. Here's the book that we're reading. That'll take 10 minutes to just explain what we're doing. I'll be like, any questions? And nobody will say shit. Like, cool, they all got it. And be like, all right, so what do we got to problem solve? And then it'll be silence.
Yeah.
And be like, anybody? Because if not, I'm getting off the call, guys.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and listen to you breathe. And then, somebody will chime in and we'll talk for a little bit. And then when they're done, I'll be like, anybody else? And sometimes it's a 15-minute call. Sometimes it's a 55-minute call. And sometimes it's 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the conversation goes from problem solving to hunting or
debauchery.
And I'm leaving the call at that point because you guys can stay in here and bullshit all you want. But if it's not helping you, I have shit to do.
Right.
So, yep.
Got a lot going on in life.
You want to jump into some emails? I have conversations for the next episode.
I saw somebody ask about my back. My back is healing. She's tender. I am pretty proud of myself for being able to sit for 5 hours the other day. Her face is done. We are into the hair. We're going to do that little ornate hair piece that's going to cover up that Celtic knot on my back.
Yeah. It's almost covered.
Yeah. She's sensitive.
Somebody said Peaches is so green today.
Yes.
Yeah, it's because you have a green light on you.
I do. I have my green light on me. I'm really falling into light work and chakras and vibrations and breathing techniques, and green represents the heart chakra, and I feel like that's what I'm here to be.
You're going to be more one than anyone.
Yeah, I'm going to be the one.
All righty then.
Yeah. Oh, I think I started astral projecting the other night. That was crazy. Just throwing that out there. We can move on if you'd like. Why are you smirking?
I just think it's funny that this just has gone and gone and gone and gone.
What do you mean?
It's escalated. It's just like cartwheeled through debauchery. And it went from feeling vibrations to being in tune with frequencies to numerology to this, to this, to this, to this. Now you're having out of body experiences.
It was crazy. It was absolutely insane. I was laying in bed. I know I had fallen asleep. And I woke up and I felt my whole body vibrating. Like there were thousands of bees inside of me.
That was me snoring.
It wasn't. And I went to go and touch you because I was like, I don't like the way I'm feeling right now. And I couldn't move my body. And I opened my eyes and I could see the room, but it had like a burgundy film over it. It was crazy. Absolutely wild. It happened a few times that night. And then I finally, like, it felt like my body hit the bed. Like, you know how you have dreams like falling off a cliff or something?
I have those all the time.
Yeah.
You know what that is?
Your body jumping.
It's a Golgi tendon reflex.
Yeah.
Your body thinks like when you're falling into that sleeping phase, it's a stretch reflex to keep muscles from stretching too far and injuring itself. So it jerks the body back in. Yep.
Crazy.
That's why when you fall asleep with your head jerks.
Yeah.
It's to protect your body from overstretching a muscle. Golgi tendon reflex.
Wish my ankle would do that.
Yeah. We're doing another ayahuasca retreat in April.
3 weeks from tomorrow.
Oh, it is April. Today's April 2nd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
This will go live in June.
You guys are so far behind.
The people that are not part of our Patreon is way far behind.
Yeah, if you don't want to be a noob, check out our Patreon.
It's a great time to insert that clip into our thing.
Good thing we recorded those.
All right, guys, as you know, there was a TikTok scare. We lost the app for a whole 12 hours, and we have no idea what the future of the app looks like. And with that, we are very concerned about the loss of our following. We have amassed almost 3 million followers across that platform with all 4 of our accounts. And we are trying to push people to other social media platforms so that in the event that anything happens on one app, we have multiple other backup plans. If you want to make sure that you're not missing any content, we highly recommend that you check out our Patreon.
On Patreon, we have multiple tiers to choose from. Starting at $10, you begin to receive exclusive content. At $15 a month, you get access to our private Discord server where we've amassed an absolutely amazing community of supportive people. And beyond that, we have other tiers to check out, along with my 2 private women's group, if that's something you may be interested in.
Guys, on our $15 and higher tier, you have access to live recordings. We record all of our content 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a week, live in front of our Patreon audience, where they are able to chat with us while we're recording. They get to see all the flirting, the outtakes, the hot topic conversations that never actually make it on the podcast. And it's really worth that aspect in itself. We have an After Dark where we sit down usually once a week and have a glass of bourbon, or in Peach's case, a glass of wine and a bowl of cheese. And we have a whole lot of fun conversations, karaoke in the Discord. We finish the lyrics. We literally just hang out, and you guys get to hang out with us. There is a host of other perks, including Zoom calls that are coming for the ultimate tier, so that if you guys are having problems, you can talk to us. It also gives you the heads up on private meet and greets, because when we travel, we try to meet up with people on our Discord on a regular basis. There's a whole slew of other perks that come through Patreon. I highly recommend that you check it out.
The best way to support what we are doing is to share the content. The second best way is to check out our Patreon. Thank you guys for being here.
All right, let's jump into some emails.
Okie dokie. Sorry, guys. I'm going to be checking my phone every now and again. One of the children have a doctor's appointment today. Oh, religious referee needed. All right. I feel like I should have a whistle. I can't do that. Babe.
No.
Come in clutch.
No. You know how loud that is in
it's
here
gonna
with
set them
3
off, I
dogs and a
guess.
cat?
Yeah, okay. All right, jumping into it. Before I delve into my failings, I feel the need to express my admiration for you and your partner's connection. Oh, I wonder who you're talking to. Thank you. Because of the work that you have put into your relationship, I am able to map out a healthy relationship after years of abuse. I am able to place proper boundaries and show due compromise. I am also, most importantly, able to model these important qualities for our kids. I use your videos to give me ideas when it hurts to think anymore. Oh, I get that. I'm glad that we can do some thinking for you. That must be a very nice reprieve. I am also, most importantly, able to model these important qualities, give you ideas. They help me to be the best version of myself possible, which helps me curate a home worth living in. What a sentence.
Living.
Well, it has asterisks, not
right. It's still
quotation.
emphasis on the word.
Yeah.
It's not existing in.
Right.
Right. Like they're thriving in their home.
Mm-hmm. I want to be good at my job, and the advice that you two offer is invaluable, to say the least. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for doing the hard part on those days. Now to the heartbreak. I have been a pagan for more than 8 years now. My partner has always been a Christian. I've been with my fiance and engaged for nearly 6 years.
Why is that?
My goodness.
Why is there a 6-year engagement?
Right.
You're a placeholder. I hate to say that.
Yeah, that's how I view that, though.
There's no reason in 6 years not to get married. If you've taken the step to do an engagement, 6 years is bullshit.
Yeah.
If you're waiting for money or the right time, there's not going to be a right time. There's no such thing.
Mm-hmm.
The right time is whenever you can make the time to do the shit.
Right.
And you can go and get married at the courthouse and then do a big ceremony or a huge fucking dinner with your friends or however you got to make it work financially. If you're waiting for the big dream wedding, you're just not going to get married.
Yep.
That's bullshit.
It was you, me, and Richard.
Good old Richard.
Yeah, I will never forget that man's name. You guys don't even have to get it government approved. You guys can stand in your backyard underneath your favorite tree and exchange vows.
Yeah.
And in that 6 years, together we've had 2 beautiful children. Our differing religious beliefs have never been an issue, but we have had numerous fun conversations about our differences. He would ask questions about my practice, and he was originally respectful. We've even laid down the laws before we had children, stating that until the children can choose for themselves, that we would foster our individual beliefs without forcing them, i.e. not forcing church attendance or ritual attendance.
I want to get into, I believe that organized religion is just programming.
I agree with that.
When Troy did an episode of the Symphony of Deconstruction, shout out to one of my best friends, Troy. I absolutely love him and his wife, Tiffany. He has his own podcast, and so far his podcast has been purely about plant medicine and psychedelics, mainly ayahuasca. But he had a guest on, will be a guest on there eventually, but he had a guest on there and he said, I'm going to say 5 words and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind. And one of them was religion. And chick was like, I want to say this because it's the first thing, but it's going to piss off a lot of people. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but organized religion is programming.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it was like a slap to the face, because we've been very clear that though we are followers of Christ, we're not Christians, because we don't follow the religious dogma that makes it a religion. And when I heard that, it was very prevalent in the moment at the time, because I've been struggling with my faith hard for about 5 months now. And we've talked about this at length. There's a lot that I'm having issues with. And it started because of a conversation that I had with somebody else that started making me have issues. And I need to have my faith and have my relationship and it be mine. And I need it to be mine in a way that does not have outside opinion or input.
Forces you to do something that you're not okay with.
Right. Because that's not my view or take on said religion or relationship with Christ, however you want to word that. I believe in a single creator, right? I believe the resurrection. Like, I have my faith. There's just a whole lot of dogma that I have issues with. I think that when you look at all organized religions, the thing that makes them all the same is that the moral structure inside of them is to be a good person. And it doesn't matter if you're looking at Hindu religions with multiple gods or pagan religions with multiple gods, Christians, whatever.
Norse, yeah.
You want to, don't get me wrong, there's always warrior gods. Our God is a warrior God if you read the Old Testament. But there's a level of compassion and empathy and be a good person. Don't kill, don't lie, don't steal, don't covet. Especially don't covet, because it's where all the other ones come from. There's just a lot that goes into all that.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Continuing on, before I get into what has changed, I feel that it's important to state that he has a family who have attacked me verbally over my spiritual beliefs, going so far as to insult my grief-stricken family in the process. Well, now I would have liked an elaboration on that.
I would have liked to know what was said, just because I'm nosy.
I wouldn't say I'm a curious cat.
Yeah, I'm nosy.
I want the kibble. I also don't view that as unnecessary, right? So if you hold your spiritual beliefs very close to you, why was your family grief-stricken? Were we grieving grandma? Or did a goldfish die?
Well, grief is grief. I don't think it really matters.
I think that would have helped me understand the level of grief they're experiencing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be more upset about grandma dying than my goldfish passing.
What about your dog?
There's still a level of grief there, but I would definitely grieve you more passing than Ivy passing.
Right.
So,
well, if it came to grandparents, I'd grieve the dog more.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right.
But that's just me.
I think it would have added understanding for me. And at that time, he chose not to defend me. He instead rode the fence and assigned us our individual blame. I laid boundaries as this heated argument happened in front of our infant son, and he harbors anger because I continue to enforce those boundaries. He says that I should...
Hold on. Why does it matter that it happened in front of your infant son?
I would have been bothered by that. I know that an infant can't understand what is happening. I do believe in energies, and I think that if there is a lot of negativity happening, that's going to affect the development of that baby's brain to a certain extent. That also shows me that these people have no couth. If you're willing to do this in front of my child, what are you going to be willing to do when this child's actually able to understand and process what's happening?
Well, there's probably a lot of belief there that the child can't understand and process, and that's based off of energy. And if he's a Christian, he doesn't believe in that.
Yeah.
But it said heated argument, not fight. So does that mean they were screaming and yelling at each other?
You mean a heated argument?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So were they screaming and yelling at each other? Were they calling each other names? Were they getting defensive? Like
getting in each other's faces?
Right. So that changes things. A heated argument to me means that you and I are having a debate that's getting a little bit tense.
Emotional.
Right. And we need to take a break and step away so that we can come back and have a calm conversation, because that's what we're doing. It's just getting elevated. I think there's levels before it becomes a fight.
I agree with that.
And if it became a fight and they were screaming and yelling, that's a very different conversation than we're having a debate and we're starting to get a little loud with each other and it's becoming personal, right? So that matters to me. It's verbiage though, because when I hear heated argument, I hear something very different than we were fighting.
Yeah.
But I also view disruption as different than an argument. So
I agree with that.
I also agree, because of the books that I read, that I know that will stunt the development of a child and can create a mental trauma at an early age that shows up later in life. I think it was like the first 16 months of a kid's life can set the stage for their entire life based off of the way that they respond to screaming yelling, slamming, throwing things, like their nervous system reacts because their brain was trying to
survive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would also like to know, what boundaries were they? Right? Because so you said this was a heated argument. We don't know what that heated argument looked like. If it was just an exchange of disagreement and they don't agree with your religion and we're shit talking your gods, and you're like, well, you're never going to see your grandson again. Deuces.
Right.
That is kind of a messed up boundary to have without discussing that with your husband or your 6-year fiance.
Well, it sounds like the continuing to enforce the boundaries was the one set earlier in the email, that they're not going to that they're not going to force the kids to go to services because I'm sure the grandparents who are religious are trying to get the kids to go to church. The issue that I have so far in all of this is that he didn't defend his woman, regardless of regardless of the religious beliefs. If he's a Christian, you're supposed to honor your wife and love your wife the way that Christ loved the church. And though you might want to see her go to heaven and you want to do all of that, it is your duty to protect her, and having outside influences attack her in any way, shape, or form is not protecting her.
Right.
And maybe that's a me thing. It could very well just be a me thing, but I'm not going to stand by and allow that shit to happen. I will write people out of my fucking life real quick when it comes to our marriage. They're not married.
Me too.
For somebody who's a super Christian with super Christian family values, he's living in sin with 2 kids and a woman he's not married to.
Right. That is very true. I also want to point out, if you were going to have such an issue with defending a woman who is blasphemous to your family, why are you even with her? If you weren't prepared to defend her honor and love her as she is, as a Christian, as Christians claim to, right? It's not your job to convert people. It's your job to love them.
Right.
And hope that your example is one that is set that helps to draw people to what you've got going on. I agree with the whole, it bothers me he didn't defend her.
Your septum ring looks really good.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Yeah, that's way better than the one that you were wearing yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite piece of jewelry you got now.
I thought you were going to tell me it was crooked.
No, it's good. Like the other one that you have, the one that you used to wear all the time, is slightly bent.
Yeah.
So it always sits kind of weird. And the one that you were wearing that's got that weird like angled point, it doesn't sit. This is I'm spicy brained right now. I'm sorry, I'm fixating on it, but it always sits off to a little bit, even if it is center.
Yeah.
And that one sits right on your philtrum, and it's very aesthetically pleasing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like adding things to my face so you'll look at it more. What? Was it the little shoulder shit?
No, it was a whole lot of dirty dick jokes.
Oh my goodness.
Our entire chat right now is all religion stuff, and it's calm. There's no ugliness. Nobody's arguing. Right. There's not like a hostility. It is honest, just calm conversation happening about religion, and I love that.
Me too.
And it's variable religions. It's not just Christianity that's being discussed.
Right.
I did see something a minute ago that somebody said that they've learned a whole lot about peace through Buddhism. I've read a lot about Dharma and Buddhism and all of that. I did that when I was in my 20s. And I understand a lot of the culture in that aspect. And I think that's why when we were in Thailand, Olivia was like, you guys are more like Thai people than Americans because of the way that you conduct yourselves.
Yeah. What a compliment that was.
Yeah.
That made me very emotional.
Yeah.
There was we should reach out to her. I don't know if you still have her contact information. There was an earthquake in Thailand.
I know, I saw.
I don't think she's stationed in Thailand. I think she goes back to China.
I think that she lives in Thailand with her sister when she's there, but I know that her family's there.
We should just reach out to her, make sure.
You have her contact information?
I don't.
All right, let's get back to it. Oh, my food's out there.
All right, continuing on.
Yeah, I'm going to mute myself while I get this shit out of the bag.
Okay. He says that I should find forgiveness, in quotations, because they've already apologized. He tells me that my heart is full of hate and that I'm immature for refusing their visits and not allowing them around our children. He says that due to his grandmother's age and declining health, she should be excused. This is all without embellishment. Okay. Well, while you're doing what you're doing, I want to pause on the forgiveness thing. Forgiveness is not for the people. Forgiveness is for yourself. So if you truly are holding on to hate and this is something that causes a negative reaction within your body, you do need forgiveness. I agree with him on that. Now, if he's saying that you need to forgive them and accept their behaviors, I disagree with that. You can have forgiveness without acceptance. And I, too, would not tolerate people who think it's okay to disrespect me in any capacity, and especially in front of my children. If their apology was sincere and they recognize the wrong that they've put out into the universe, which as Christians, I hope that they would have accountability and know that they are not just pure of heart because they believe in Jesus. They are still humans of sin and they make mistakes. If that apology has happened and you're continuing to, why is cock block the only thing coming to my mind? If you're cock blocking them from seeing the children because you're still holding on to that hate, that's not okay.
I wonder if the apology is a true apology.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between trying to smooth things over and being remorseful for your actions. And the point of an apology is to ask for forgiveness. You're supposed to be seeking repentance for what you did. And if there's no changed action and that shit's going to continue, there's no reason to accept the apology.
Yeah.
You can say, I forgive you, but your actions will not change and I don't want you around me.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that. I would hold that line. And I don't give a fuck if she's old and dying or not.
Right.
That's like saying you can't hit him, he's drunk. It just makes it easier.
Right. I agree with that. So his grandmother is now a great-grandmother to their children. And if great-grandma can't get her shit together, you've been here longer than anybody. You should be the one following the testament to a T.
Right.
And know what's right and wrong. And if you're being a nasty person to somebody just because you disagree with them, I would be harder on great-grandma than anybody else. I expect more out of you, woman.
Elders should know better.
Yeah.
They should have a lot more compassion.
More wisdom. These days, my beloved is doing his best to straighten up, as is his religious inclination. He hasn't touched a drop of alcohol, nor has he smoked with me in months. I'm so proud of him. Happy hands. I do my best to support him unconditionally. He's been less successful with cigarettes, but I haven't bugged him about it. I cannot stress enough that I feel it's important that I support him in this. Okay, I want to pause right there.
Oh, this is going to get bad.
Did you continue reading?
I did.
Okay. I wanted to touch on, he's been less successful with the cigarettes, so he hasn't quit smoking cigarettes, but I haven't bugged him about it. I wonder why that verbiage.
Right. Instead of I'm doing my best to support him.
Right. Why would you bug him about it? You're not the one, I mean, maybe you are. Maybe you are the one who has pushed him to stop drinking alcohol and stop smoking. But if this is a choice that he is making and he's decided to stop those things, saying I haven't bugged him about it is almost akin to nagging to me. Like you're viewing what he's doing wrong. You're supporting him while simultaneously judging, like low key, that he hasn't quit this one thing yet. So, not shitting on it, just wondering why that verbiage was used. And you don't have to email back in. That's more of a self-pondering. The way that people word things says a lot about inner feelings. He doesn't support me, though. He barely shows me the courtesy he once did.
Hang on, before you read him further, because the next line's a doozy.
Okay.
Buff Bell in the chat just said, I don't enjoy fake food, period. I have gotten to the point where the ayahuasca retreat fucked me up.
Yeah.
In a good way, right? It changed a whole lot of things fundamentally. I still haven't had an energy drink.
No, you haven't.
Got a whole fridge full of them. Haven't touched it. I've had 2 sodas. I opened 2 sodas. I drank one because there was nothing else to drink. And I hate water. And I drank half of the other one and poured it out of Coke Zero.
You're drinking 7-Up. You're drinking non-caffeinated.
Right. Because it's
clear soda.
I'm done with that now too.
Yeah.
Because even that was bothering me. I've moved on to lemonade. I'm not taking fat burners. I'm not taking ephedra. Like all of my adrenal glands are starting to reset. I'm starting to sleep normal hours except for my back pain. And when food doesn't taste right, I'm not eating it. I threw away everything last night. I had like three bites of the mushrooms and like 4 French fries. Yeah,
I couldn't finish my dinner last night either.
And I haven't had red meat other than like I've had pepperoni on pizza, which I think is pork. Technically a red meat, but it's not beef. All of that has changed. So like my food taste has changed drastically since that retreat.
Yeah.
So I agree, Buff Bell. That was all I was going to say. Now you can read the next line because it's a fucking doozy.
Well, I want to pause there as well. So the ayahuasca retreat also really messed up my food taste. We had pizza for the first time since coming back from the retreat. Why are you laughing?
Because I walked outside and you're sitting naked on a pillow in the rain in our backyard.
I was going through it.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
So we ordered Domino's for dinner. I loved Domino's pizza. Their thin crust pizza, extra sauce, light cheese, there were a bunch of pepperoni on there, was one of my favorite things to eat. And I can usually smash a whole medium pizza of that. I ate maybe a third and a half of it. I ate a chocolate lava cake. I was like, I'm going to go do some hape. Relax myself, enjoy the evening, let everything wash away. I did the first blow. I took my first deep breath and I put it in my nose and I was like, oh no. And I panicked a little bit, so I took it out and I was like, I have to breathe a little bit first. So I did some deep breaths and I put it in there and I went, and I was like, fuck, she's mad at me. And I was like, I have to do the second one. I have to do the second blow. I loaded it up and I put my intentions into it too. Funnily enough, my intentions were, if I need to hear something, tell me. Like I'm open to any messages right now. I loaded up my hot bay. I blew it the second time and I started spitting. And then I heard just in the back of my mind, I heard mother go, you shouldn't have eaten that tonight. And then I just started profusely vomiting everything that I ate. And like, I started getting nauseous. I was like, oh no. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Please, mother, don't make me. And then I stood up and I ran to the back door and I barely made it outside. And I just started, and then Ivy's at my feet eating it. And I was like, Ivy, you're so disgusting. And like, it's landing all over my dress. And all I can hear just on repeat is, you shouldn't have eaten that. You shouldn't have eaten that for dinner. You shouldn't have eaten that. And I was like, I know, I'm so sorry. And like, I finally got it all out of my system. And I took my dress off because I threw up all over it. And then I got the urge to sit in the rain. I was like, I have to cleanse myself, my shame. So I grabbed one of the couch cushions on our back patio furniture and I threw it on the ground and I just sat with my legs crossed, crisscross applesauce, just sitting in the rain. And I was like, oh God, mother, forgive me. I was like, I know I did this to myself. And now I never want to eat pizza again unless I make it at home.
And that's what I walked out to.
Yeah.
And there was no puke on the ground. Ivy got all of it.
She ate she ate all of it. She didn't eat dinner that night because she had mine.
And she's had the shits ever since.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah. I felt great after it. I was like, lesson learned. Noted. I ate some grapes and cheese. I went inside and I was like opening up the fridge. I got those cotton candy grapes, the really, really sweet ones. And I grabbed some cheddar cheese and I sat on the couch and I started eating. And my husband looked at me and he was like, grapes? And I was like, grapes.
You actually ate more of your pizza than I ate of mine.
Yeah.
I only ate like 3 or 4 little squares.
I was so hungry. I think that was the first thing I ate that day. We had a really crazy day that day.
It'd be like that.
And now I made some homemade stuffed shells with cheese, tomato sauce. It was fantastic. One of the greatest things I've ever eaten.
Does that mean that's going to be a regular thing?
That's going to become a regular thing. Yeah, it was really easy to make.
Can it be like a once a week only kind of thing? Okay.
Not a fan of it?
I fucking hate spaghetti anything, and that's all it tasted like to me.
Really?
I had to convince myself that it was just lasagna and a roll to get it down. It didn't taste bad. I just don't like spaghetti. Like
I can try a different sauce.
The tomato paste, watery tomato paste flavor, I fucking hate it. I hate spaghetti so much.
One of the greatest things for me.
Yeah.
I can try other things.
That's okay.
Try other things.
Go back to the email.
Okay, going back to the email. Okay. He doesn't support me, though. He barely shows me the courtesy he once did. Today, he said the unthinkable. If I have to break up with you, I will. I won't deny my God for you.
I don't even need an explanation as to why that was stated. You are never going to get married to this man.
Yes.
The engagement was absolutely a placeholder ring.
Yeah. It could have been a shut up ring.
Could have been. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Man, there's so much there.
You're not a priority to him. You're right. There is so much there.
It's on the table now.
Yeah, right. That is now an option for him. I would never feel secure in this relationship. I need to take my glasses off so the reader knows I'm serious. That would have been relationship ending for me. There would have been conversations. I don't even know if there would have been conversations because why? Why would you get with me? You knew that I was pagan this whole time. We've had conversations of how we're going to raise our children. We've had conversations about how we're not going to force each other into our religions.
And we've had children.
So now he's brought children into this really fucked up situation. I wonder how long he's been feeling this way. Oh gosh. I'm sorry that was said to you. I can't imagine how devastating that must have felt. You've dedicated 6 years of your life to this man. You've brought life to earth with this man. It would be really hard for me not to spiral and question everything. Has he ever actually loved me? Has he been secretly hating me this whole time? Does his family have a negativity bias against me, and that's why they said what they said, because he goes to them and says things?
Probably. I have a whole lot I want to say, but I want you to read the next paragraph first.
Okay. This came out because I asked him not to share photography that contains pictures of my altar. I can understand that. It's a personal thing. He had shared a photo with his pastor despite agreeing to this rule previously. Inside the plumes of incense smoke, you can quite clearly make out the image of Jesus. This moved him to tears as he was praying at the time.
So he took that in a negative manner, which is why he stated that he would leave her over that.
Right.
I have so much. Where do I even begin with this? He's okay with living in sin, not married.
2 kids out of wedlock.
Smokes cigarettes, is doing a whole lot of things that goes against his faith as per the Bible.
Right. Not putting his supposed woman for his family.
Right. There's a whole lot going on there that doesn't speak to what Christianity is supposed to be.
Right.
But he's more worried about the outside influence of other people's thoughts, his families, his pastors, all of that shit. And now he's threatening to leave her over it. So you have a like what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in sin, because it doesn't work that way, bro. You're
right.
Like, get your fucking house in order. Worry about all of the other shit, and then maybe try to worry about your relationship. Like, I don't understand how you're going to stand on this hill when you've got all these other flaws that you're not willing to correct. Maybe the faith difference is why he's not getting married, and if that's the case, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally fucking get it.
Continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
When I reminded him of the rule, that was his response. This isn't the first time he said it. Also, most notably, the aforementioned family that I have separated myself from stated that the religious differences would be our undoing. I believe that. I also would have stated that. I will state that right now. I think it would be very hard for anybody with 2 differing religious views to not just be married, but to form a family together. The arguments that are going to come from how are we going to raise the children? What are the children going to believe in? What do we believe is right versus wrong, good versus bad, black and white, whatever. There's a gray area for everything. But if you want to celebrate Christmas and your partner wants to celebrate Hanukkah, that's going to be a very, very hard thing to tackle, especially if there's outside family influence, just like there is here.
Right. Right. It can be done. It's
can
really
be.
fucking hard and takes special people to do it. And that's really what it comes down to. I think that there's an understanding when it comes to Christianity that there's only been one perfect person in the world and we crucified him.
Yeah.
So to hold yourself at a standard is the point of having your faith, but to understand that you're going to fall short, which is why we need the glory of God. Like, that's a thing. You also can't be responsible for other people's souls. I know that there are religions out there that make you knock on people's doors to try to save the world. You're responsible for your kids. And as a man, you're supposed to lead your house in religion. And maybe that's something he's hung up on. Like, there's a whole lot that goes into all this. I have a hard time with all of this shit.
Yeah. Continuing on.
Yeah.
You have to scroll down a little bit. I'm stubborn, so this has become a sore spot. I think I'd rather gargle thumbtacks than allow them to be right.
Well, okay, so that's dumb as fuck.
That really is really stupid. That, I would say that to somebody's face. The sentence that you just said out loud was stupid. You're willing to live a very miserable life with somebody who does not prioritize you, sounds like they don't care about you, and are willing to say things just to hurt you because you don't want somebody else to be right.
Right.
Where's the priority of your happiness? What about the children? You're willing to put the children through a messed up childhood home with spiritual warfare happening because you don't want great grandma to be right about what's going on.
That spiritual warfare is going to happen either way. Because those kids are going to grow up confused because dad's religion and mom's religion is very different.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is just adding on to it.
Well, I think it's going to happen regardless. I think that if they leave, If they separate and she ends up with the kids and dad gets the kids, he's going to try to force that religion down their throats and try to force them to go to church on the weekends when he has them and do all of that shit. And it's going to create conflict. It's not going to allow them to make a choice on their own.
Yeah.
But I also think that speaks to programming, which is what we talked about earlier.
This is where I admit my own faults on the matter. I have some severe religious trauma diagnosed. I suffer from PTSD due to some of the unfortunate things I've experienced. That's when hard to attend church every blue moon with him to support him. Oh, it's been hard to attend church every blue moon with him to support him. I wear my veil and pagan jewelry. I'm restless in the pews and embarrass him because I refuse to sing the hymns, stand, or bow my head in prayer.
Then why go?
Right. If I go, right, say I have a Jewish friend and they invite me to synagogue, I am not going to walk in there dressed in all black, wearing like antichrist jewelry and upside down crosses and all of these kinds of things. I'm going to be respectful to what they have going on. This is an opportunity for you to open up yourself past the scope of what you're already open to. This is just disrespectful in my opinion. I can understand not wanting to disrespect your own religion. You're not going to church to follow the religion. You're going there to support your husband.
Right. But
or your 6-year fiance.
She is technically disrespecting her religion. He's not doing pagan services with her.
Yeah.
Because they view that as demonic.
Right.
So I don't think she should go. Mm-hmm. There's no reason for her to be going to church. All she's doing is creating more negativity in a relationship.
Yeah.
Because she's going to support him, but she's not going for why he wants her to go. Mm-hmm. He's probably getting excited going, okay, she's going to go. It's going to be the night she's going to get saved. Like, I think she should just opt out.
Yeah. I agree with that. Continuing, I always end up in the nursery with the children anyways, thankfully. He doesn't force me to go, but I'm trying to get the children out of the house more. And admittedly, having conversations with him about it has added to the trauma. So I'm going to pause here because I don't understand how you have religious trauma and then choose to be with a man who's religious.
Right. I also don't see how a conversation can add to the trauma unless he's, berating her and being super aggressive. A conversation is just a conversation. It might trigger you, but a conversation can't add to your trauma. Unless
he's repeating the things that traumatized you.
Well, those, yeah, maybe. I mean, but I would still see that more as a trigger.
Yeah.
I don't believe that you can be triggered by a conversation. I just don't. Mm-hmm. Now, attacks, like, verbal nastiness, ugly screaming, yelling in your face, that kind of shit. Like, I could see how that would put you on your heels. Mm-hmm. But just having I just don't believe that. I can see how you would be annoyed by it. You'd be triggered by it, but I don't see it adding to your trauma. It's you reliving situations that you haven't healed from yet. It's not adding to it. Again, though, that's my standpoint.
Yeah. I wish there was an inclusion of
what was said,
right? Because if he's sitting here cramming down your throat that you're going to go to hell and blasphemy and he's throwing Bibles at your face.
Right.
That's different from I went to church on Sunday and this is what was talked about and it made me feel this way and I have a new enlightenment that I want to talk to you about, right? Continuing. I don't feel safe trying to have this conversation with him anymore. He won't listen, and no phrase I've used seems to open his eyes. I've tried everything from an ultimatum to compromise. So he's not the only one who said that he's going to leave the relationship and choose his God. That's how I read an ultimatum. You're either going to step in line with what I want you to do or I'm going to leave you.
Well, right. That is an ultimatum. The ultimatum could have been that we had an agreement.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow the agreement, I'm going to leave. Because that has nothing to do with the faith. That has, you keep your religion, I'll keep my religion, and we'll let the kids decide.
Yeah.
You trying to force your religion on me because you think it's your duty to your God to save me. That's problematic. Because now you're no longer adhering to our agreement. And from a Christian standpoint, most Christian faiths tell you that you are supposed to spread the gospel and you are supposed to try to save people and bring them to Jesus and do all of those things. So if you're in a relationship and it is your duty to lead the home and you have children and you're living as if you are married, even though you're not. And now there's questions too about how your marriage would look. That could be why you're not married. Because if you want a pagan marriage and he wants a Christian and you guys can't agree, there's the reason that you're 6 years engaged and not ever going to get married.
Yeah.
Yeah. This relationship is getting to a point of no return.
Yeah. I think it's past that point now.
Yeah.
Once it's been put on the table that I'm willing to choose my God over you and end this relationship and break up our family, like you guys are already too far gone. Hey guys, little quick interruption. If you're enjoying the content, please leave a like. And also don't forget to comment. We enjoy interacting with you guys and hearing your opinions, and it helps the algorithm.
It's also free to do, and if you really want to help make sure the show continues to do, hit the subscribe button and share the content across your social medias. It costs you nothing, and it greatly helps the show. Continuing on, I'm growing angry. He insults my beliefs now. He makes posts on his social media about my religion under the light of repentance. He insults my friends and family who share my views, who defend me fiercely. Yet he proclaims that I'm the only person he has to talk to about his own personal journey. Yet I feel so alone in mine. Well, because you are. Him attacking you on social media under the light of repentance and insulting your friends and family like this relationship needs to end.
Yes.
Buff Bell said, I'm willing to bet he thought he could convert her. I believe that.
Oh, yeah. I believe that. This is why you don't get in relationships, because of the potential you see in somebody.
Yeah.
You need to see the person for as they are in the moment. And
not their potential.
Right, not their potential. And if they happen to grow and change and evolve and form into a new person, dope, love them through that. But you can't get with somebody because you think, I can make her see Jesus.
You know how many people do that, though, even without the religion aspect? That's why that phrase is popular.
Yeah.
Love them for who they are and not their potential. Everybody believes that they can change their person. We would not have a podcast if that wasn't the case.
Right. Continuing, are we just growing apart? Am I going to have to break my family apart over this, or am I just doing it wrong? I need a good cry, but your advice will help so much. A good cry is not going to fix this. A good cry might make you feel better. That's a really nice purge to go through. I think some very serious conversations need to happen, and there are going to be some really hard decisions in your future.
I agree. I think that all of the ugly that he's throwing at you, he's doing so hoping that you will see the change, like see what you're doing is wrong and like come to the light.
Right.
And I think that you need to tell him that all that's doing is pushing you further and further away from his beliefs. And that if this is going to continue, that the relationship's not going to last, because what he's doing is abusing you.
Yes. What I view as what he's doing now is a new tactic to try and get her to convert.
Right.
He was nice and gentle and sweet in the beginning, and it was trying to get her to come to church and be supportive of what she was doing, while like low key underhanding everything that was going on, be like, hey, well, did you think about this?
Right.
And now that hasn't worked, he's being nasty about it.
It is definitely a change of tactics.
Yeah.
And the amount of other people that are involved in their relationship, his family, the church, the pastor, all of those people that are involved in all of that.
Well, her family is involved in it too, because now he's brought it to the public. He's posting about it on social media.
So is her friends, because he's degrading her friends as well.
Yeah. This is, I would have one conversation. We're either going to come together over this. There's going to be sincere apologies about how we've treated each other over the last 6 years, and we can agree to disagree on our religious views, or you are free to go find somebody who agrees with what you have going on, and we can co-parent our children together.
Right. Yeah, that's a tough one. This is why we put the courting questions together, the questionnaire together. You know, you want to make sure that you have the same values, and you can even include religious values in that questionnaire. You know, if you're somebody who is anti-God and somebody that is very God, you're going to have issues in the relationship. It can be done. There are going to be people who have the faith like I have. You can believe whatever you want to believe. I'm worried about my soul, right? Like, and that was the situation with us. When we had all of our conversations about religion, I never pushed any of it. This is just what I believe. I've seen too much to not believe in a greater, creator. And this is my faith. And we had conversations, and you decided to convert. That had nothing to do with me at all. It was just conversations and the decisions that you made. If you were still doing the pagan thing, and like if you were doing tarot card readings, and I was anti-tarot card readings, and I would just not be home when you did that shit. You're gonna have your friends over tonight. I'm gonna fucking go see a movie or go hang out with Sean, and I don't know, I'm gonna do something other than fucking sit here because this makes me fucking feel uneasy and I don't want to be a part of it. That's how that would have played out. Now, like the big crystal things and like moon water and moon bath water and all that shit, like whatever, I believe in that. I don't think that there's anything demonic or unnatural about it. I don't understand the way a battery fucking works, but it works. Nuclear fission, I don't get it, but it does. And it powers shit. I don't understand atoms on a molecular cell. God does. He created all of it. So maybe there is power in all of that shit. I don't fucking know, but they're cool looking. They make me feel good when I walk in the house seeing all that nice looking shit laying around. Like, that's the difference in perspective. I don't believe that it's my duty to save the world. Not in that aspect. I believe I'm being called to do other things. And if he is being called to save the world, maybe he should become a pastor. I'm gonna go throw this away.
Okie dokie.
And then we'll get into another one because unless you got more you want to talk about.
No, I'm good. I think we discussed a lot.
This is called Short! Bad Valentine. It's 1 page.
Okay, word. Bad Valentine. That sounds like a song.
Right?
Hi guys. I watch your stuff a lot, and I know this may not get read or responded to, but just wanted to get it off my chest. This Valentine, my husband surprised me with 3 roses and some candy in my car waiting for me when I left for work. Sweet, right? When I joked about there only being 3 roses, he said most of the other ones were wilted and he picked the best 3 to keep. Then we had planned to go to dinner that night.
Hold on.
Okay.
She shouldn't have done that.
I agree. There should have been gratitude.
Right. There's no joking about that. Why only 3?
Right.
You ungrateful bitch. Like that's how most men would take that.
Yeah.
I went above and beyond, bought you roses and chocolate and put them in your car so you'd find them. There was thought and effort put into this. Then to find out that they were wilted and you got rid of the ugly ones so that you only saw the pretty ones. Don't do that, ladies.
Yeah.
Don't do that shit. Show your gratitude. Keep the little jokey jokes and the fucking one-liners to yourself because that will shut a man down quick as fuck.
Yeah.
And you will get a very different version of your man moving forward after that.
Continuing, when I joked about there only being 3 roses, he said the others were wilted and he picked the best 3 to keep. Then we had planned to go to dinner that night, and while I was waiting in the car for a table to be ready, I found the receipt for the things that he got for me. I found out that he not only got something for me, but gave a flower each plus some candy to 3 ladies at work from the flowers that he got me.
Okay, so he lied.
I would have a fucking problem with that.
You don't ever worry about that with me because I don't do Valentine's Day. I think it's a bullshit holiday. What if they were all like fucking 70-year-old women?
Context matters.
Right?
You're right. I'm pulling back the love Quinn a little bit. Context matters. If they're grandmothers, older women, maybe their husbands have passed away and they're not, they have gotten used to not being thought of on Valentine's Day or whatever. That's a different context.
What if they're in their 40s and 50s and he's in their early 20s?
I view that as a respect thing.
Right. So context matters.
Context does matter. You're right. The fact that he didn't say anything about it.
He lied.
That would still make me crazy as fuck. Like, we're not going to dinner tonight. You lied by omission. You not telling me this makes me feel like you're doing something behind my back, and now we have to go home and I have to process all of this. This hurt my feelings a lot. It completely ruined the night because to me, it wasn't as special or meant as much what he did for me because he took some of what he got for me and gave it to somebody else. Plus, I had no idea that he had did this. Was I right to be mad or upset about it? Or is it not a big deal?
Let's pause there. You have a right to feel how you feel.
Right.
You're going to get upset by shit and you need to talk through it. That's where the communication comes in. So what we just did, well, what if they were 70-year-old women or what if they're, he's in his early 20s and our 40s and 50s and he's just being respectful.
Yeah.
Those conversations need to happen. Now, if they're all working somewhere and they're all young women and he's just being flirty, and that's a very different conversation. So you have to process your emotions in the moment and then have a conversation about it. I wouldn't have let it ruin dinner. I would have gotten upset about it and been like, that made me feel a certain way. Let's enjoy our dinner and we can talk about it when we get home. Because there needs to be conversations had. But I don't think that I would have had it out in a parking lot, and I definitely wouldn't have fucking let it ruin the evening because he did take you to dinner. Those women didn't get dinner. He still did something for you above and beyond what he did for them. Yeah. But until you know the understanding, the why of everything, that's just an emotional response. Mm-hmm. If you had all of the data and all of the information and you understood what was going on, you would have processed that information differently. Do you know the 3 women at work that he gave them to? Like, did he tell you who they were and you're familiar with them because you've been in there? Because that would change the conversation as well. Mm-hmm. I don't think that you can't ever say, am I wrong to feel this way? Your feelings are not a logical response. Your feelings are a visceral reaction within you. And it comes from lived life experience, right? You have probably been put last in relationships in the past.
Mm-hmm. Probably cheated on.
Right? There's probably a whole lot of things that are happening there, and your gut reaction is going to be the way that it is. My issue in all of this is that he lied, because anything beyond that, You can't trust what he said.
Right.
They wilted and I threw them away. Well, what about all the other roses that you bought for other people? Like, you know what I mean? There's just a lot in that aspect that I have issue with.
I would also have a problem with you didn't get me anything special. You got me and 3 other women the same thing.
Right. Except for the dinner.
Dinner means nothing to me at this point. The lying by omission and knowing that I was just grouped. This is like a Groupon deal for you.
Right. I get that.
I'm good on that. I need to go home and I need to process everything going on right now. Don't touch me.
Yeah. Again, if they were 70-year-old women, I could see it being okay. 40, 50-year-old, him being young, just trying to be respectful or polite.
Yeah.
But even then, I think, even on the 40 and 50-year-old woman thing, I think that would have been too much. Mm-hmm. Because if I was married to one of those women and found out somebody at work had given them roses and candy, it would have been a problem.
Right.
So like, there's definitely a conversation that has to be had in all of that. I don't know. He lied.
He lied.
And that's what I'm hung up on.
Yeah. Was I right to be mad or upset about it, or is it not a big deal? It really bothers me, and he got mad and said that I was unappreciative of his love and what he did for me by getting me the stuff. But to me, he didn't only get it for me, he got it for other people as well, so it didn't mean the same. What do you think?
I think that your feelings are valid. I think that he didn't get you something different. If he would have bought all of those girls a single flower and a box of M&Ms and bought you a giant bouquet, an edible arrangement, and a giant box of chocolates, it would have been very different. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that.
I don't think that all of them should have gotten the same thing.
I agree.
There should have been something that set her apart from all of that. Mm-hmm. And then that could have been the thing that made it okay for him to just be respectful, the nice guy at work that's doing nice shit for nice people. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's a whole lot of information here that needs to be cleared up for me to give an honest, like, this is what I think.
I don't have any other thoughts on that.
Okay.
I agree. There should be more information. I can't really formulate an opinion without knowing.
Nope.
Were these women in their 60s or were they 18 to 19 years old?
Right.
Was he trying to swoop in and save the day for these women because their boyfriend did not step up to the bat? And he was trying to be the hero? I'd have a problem with that too. Those women are not yours to take care of, bitch. I am.
This one's called Struggling Mom of a Self-Isolated 14-Year-Old Boy. This is a 3-pager.
Okay.
This will be the last one.
Okay.
Jenna said, I disagree. I think if my man is gifting women on a holiday, it should have been discussed previously and been gifted from us, not him. That's a really good point.
That is a good point.
That changes the entire discussion because now she's included and it's not a, here you go, girl.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey guys, let me start by saying I love y'all so much. I value your advice so much. And I'm sorry if this is all over the place. Now for my issue, my oldest son is 14 and is on the spectrum. His bio dad has never been around much since I left him in 2012 due to DV and multiple SA at his hands. But I do have a boyfriend and we've been together almost 2 years and recently bought a house and moved in together. My son is such a kind-hearted young man and feels everything deeply but is struggling to find his place in the world. His comfort zone is online, and he doesn't really associate much with people in real life, partly due to being bullied when he was younger, either due to his quirks or because he did have lots of undesirable behaviors, such as stealing and violence. But he's been doing great since 2020 when he had his last hospitalization. We have done every kind of therapy that the doctors recommended, even a partial hospitalization program. It's like being hospitalized, but he came home every day after his school day. Now he's 14 and is doing amazing. I'm so proud of him. However, for the past few months, he's been in this online relationship with a girl in North Carolina. We live in Pennsylvania and his behavior is worrying me. My kids have Bark phones, highly recommended, so everything is monitored, texts, social media, web searches, etc. Well, I've been getting alerts from Bark about his texts with this girl and she seems to be very mentally unstable. She said she wants to hurt herself, sent pictures to my son of scratches all over her arm saying she did it to herself and that she's sad.
I have a really hard time with this already.
Yeah, I would disconnect from everything. Like, you are not allowed to talk to this girl. And I would be calling a wellness check.
Yeah, I would
be getting in contact with her parents. Like, this would be taken very, very seriously.
Yeah. 14 years old, like, you should be involved in your child's life still at that point. Like, you should know who they're talking to and what they're doing and trying to be parents. But, like, being in a relationship at 14 years old with somebody in another state, you're a fucking pen pal.
Right.
That's it. You don't have the ability to go see them.
Mm-hmm.
You can voice chat. You have a friend. And you can think that you're in love and think that you're a savior and all of that bullshit. You're not. At 14 years old, you're a pen pal. That's really all there is to that. All of that shit is attention seeking.
Yes.
Especially if it's scratches. She didn't say cut. She said scratches.
Yeah. My son, being who he is, has adapted the savior complex, in my opinion. He's always asking her what he can do and how he can make her happy, and she'll usually come back with maybe some V-Bucks or an emote.
What are V-Bucks?
I'm assuming online currency. It all just screams manipulation to me.
Hang on.
Do we even know if this is really a 14-year-old girl?
We don't. It's for Fortnite. V-Bucks is for Fortnite.
I would be losing my mind. Yeah, I would become that overdeering, whatever the word is, helicopter parent. You're not talking to this girl anymore.
Zach said that calling it a pen pal is dismissive of the emotional intimacy they likely share. How? You can have emotional intimacy with somebody via letter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change the fact that at 14 years old, he's not going to see this person. It is an online long distance relationship, and it will not be more than that until he's at least 18.
Yeah.
Or he runs away from home. She's using him to get things.
Yeah. As someone who self-harmed and struggled with depression as a kid, I was worried. We've had several talks with him about her behavior and asked if there are any safe adults she may be able to talk to, and tried to tell him it's not his job to save her, and that no matter how much he may want to, that he can't. If she is really struggling with depression and self-harm, that she needs to get help on her own from a professional. Okay, she can't get help on her own. She is also a child, or what we believe is a child.
Right. I'm curious if there's ever been video chat.
Right.
Because you can pull pictures of self-harm off the internet.
Easy.
I am a cynical motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in shit.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to things like this, unless she was doing it when I actually got to see it, I wouldn't believe that she was doing this shit.
Yeah.
At 14 years old, though, you're so gullible because you haven't been fucked over by life yet.
Your brain's still developing.
Right. Where's he getting money to give her this shit?
Yeah.
Because at 14 years old, he's not working.
He just shuts down and tells me that he's not breaking up with her and that I can't make him. I quickly told him otherwise, and that was not my goal. If he wants to be a support for her, that's one thing, but it's starting to affect his everyday life. He no longer wants to participate in family night. Most nights. Lately, he said he's not hungry at dinner time, which is not like him because this boy loves to eat. That LOL. She put LOL at the end of that sentence. That bothers me.
That he loves to eat. Ha ha ha.
Right. This is not a funny situation. This child is no longer eating because of the anxiety and stress that he's experiencing because of this claim to be 14-year-old girl he's in a relationship with via the internet.
Do you think that that's stress related, or do you think that he's trying to spend time in his room and they won't let him eat there?
Oh, that's a good question.
Because if he was able to come down, make a plate, and go back up to his room, I'm willing to bet he would. I remember what it was like being 14 years old. If there was a girl that had interest, so I'm old. We didn't have that shit. We had phones. And it'd be like, you hang up. No, you hang up. No, you hang up.
Yeah.
They sit on fucking playing video game. They could be not talking. I remember being a kid on the phone, listening to somebody breathe, watching television.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of us are talking. We're both just watching TV on the phone. Every once in a while, you hear somebody be, oh shit, I'm on the phone. It's very different. But, I think that there's a whole lot of details and information in that needs to be disclosed, I guess.
Yeah.
Zenergy said, so she is isolating him. That is predatory behavior. Right. Well, we also don't know if it's actually a 14-year-old girl.
Right.
It could be a fucking grown man taking advantage of your kid. Like there's a lot of fucking weirdos when it comes to that shit. That's why I don't think that kids at 14 years old should have access to video games unsupervised.
I agree. Me and my boyfriend and my other son went to dinner the other day, somewhere he's been asking to go and he declined. I and my boyfriend have both tried to talk to him, given my boyfriend is a very blunt and sometimes ashholeless person, is how he comes across.
I get that. Me too.
But his intentions are not to hurt. He's just a blue-collar steel mill worker who is very upfront and a no-bullshit kind of man. And I love that, and I do think that tough love is needed for a young man.
I agree.
But my son just says, I'm fine, I just want to be alone. He doesn't want to be alone. He wants to be left by himself so he can have access to this girl without the opinions of you guys being crammed down his throat.
I agree with that.
Okay. He does see a psychiatrist, but he tells her the same. It's always, I'm fine. But I know better. Any mom worth their salt knows when their child is not okay, and he is not. Today, he got mad because I wouldn't let him stay home from school due to his words, spend time with her, because I guess she didn't go to school today. Yeah, I'd be putting a kibosh to this. There would be no access to the internet. I'm unplugging everything. We're going to live by candlelight and bedtime stories.
Yeah, I'm changing Wi-Fi passwords and taking that phone.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way to handle it. I would talk to if I was the mom in this situation, I would talk to the therapist and I would explain, a psychiatrist. I would explain to her what's going on.
Person.
And I would tell them that I am not comfortable with what's happening. His behavior is changing. I believe that this is an adult manipulating my child. What can we do, or what do you recommend? That way you have professional guidance versus the two people on the internet who are not professionals.
Right.
Because the way that I would handle this in this situation is that would be the right way to do it. The moment that he started isolating, if that was little man, I'm taking all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he gets mad about it and he gets mad, he can be mad. And when you're calm, we can have a discussion about what's going on. Mm-hmm. And you may not understand this right now. And I heard this a lot when I was a kid. I heard a lot from my stepdad. You may not understand this right now, but when you grow up, you'll understand, you'll get it. And he was right. As I lived life lessons, all he was trying to do was keep me safe and protect me. And I get that. I'm not mad at him for it. In a moment, it fucking sucked and I hated his guts. But I respect that man now. And I've talked about that on the podcast a lot. I have a lot of respect for my stepdad. I just don't, that's wild.
The way the family lives life is going to change.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go out of the house more often. We're going to spend more time together as a family. We're going to try and talk and process through all of this. This young man is feeling very, very big emotions right now that he is not capable of processing on his own. At all. And at 14, he thinks he's a man. Right.
This is about the time where young boys start challenging their fathers to find out where they are in that pecking order. We've talked about that on the podcast too, and that's going to start happening, especially if he's an angry young man. A whole lot of people in the chat talking about how they were in chat rooms and shit when they were kids. I was alive when chat rooms were invented.
Yeah.
And I spent a whole lot of time in those chat rooms, and the things that went on in those chat rooms and things that were discussed were fucked up. I remember a time on the internet where you could buy official, like legit SWAT gear, police uniforms, ATF. You could buy all that shit. You didn't have to be a member of anything. Like you couldn't buy badges. I mean, you could probably still buy that shit, but it would be very easy to order, plate carriers and fucking police badges, Velcro and shit. And like the amount of dirt that we did as kids because of that shit, like.
I was 11 years old the first time I sent an inappropriate photo of myself to somebody.
11?
11.
You shouldn't even have had a fucking phone at 11 years old. When the kids get old enough to have phones, they're getting dumb phones.
Oh yeah.
So they can text message and they'll have bark, same thing, bark phones. But there'll be no photo sending.
No.
Like I don't want any of that shit. I want a basic ass fucking digital Nokia screen. You can play Snake on that motherfucker and send text messages. That's as far as that needs to go.
You have a camera to go take pictures.
Right. And the first time little man says, "Hey, I got a girlfriend," I'm like, "Cool, I want to meet their parents."
Oh yeah.
What? Yeah, I want to meet their parents.
Yep.
I want to know what kind of people you're associating yourself with. If this is going to be a long time girlfriend for you, here's a great way to manipulate the whole situation. Right. And it is manipulation because it probably will never happen. But in a situation where they're kind of long distance, you could say, "I want to meet their parents. I want to meet the mom. I would like to see her. Like, is she pretty?" Relate on a love level with your child. Like, I'm so happy for you. And then when you go, "I want to meet the parents," and you go, "Why do you want to meet the parents?" Be like, "Because if you ever want to have her come down here for a vacation or ever want to fly up and see them, I need to know who you're staying with. So let's set up a Zoom call and all of us can sit down and have a conversation."
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here you go, Nancy. This is my personal cell phone number. Feel free to call me whenever. Yeah.
He wanted to stay home because she didn't go to school. And I told him he can't live his life based around her and her schedule. And that just made him more mad. I am so out of my depth and I'm worried. I know as a woman, I can't teach my son how to be a man. So I let my boyfriend try to give that kind of guidance, but it's just not helping. Please, any insight you can give will be greatly appreciated. Thanks for reading.
You need to talk to his therapist.
Yeah.
You need to talk. Yeah. Zach said, "I drive up to meet them. PA to North Carolina is not that far." I mean, that's fair too.
That is very fair.
Didn't she say that her son was on the spectrum?
Yes.
Right. So if he has a hard time, she said that he was bullied in school. He's always kind of isolated because of it. Violent past. He's been hospitalized. this situation is not healthy, right?
No.
But if this was a healthy relationship, Zach is absolutely right. Driving North Carolina to PA is only like 6 hours. You could do that. You could go make a weekend out of it.
Right.
And you guys could all go to dinner as a family and get to know each other, and like they can spend actual time hanging out together. That would have been a beautiful way to handle that shit, but not in this situation.
Yeah.
The mom needs to talk to the therapist and explain to the therapist everything that's going on, so the therapist knows, because the therapist knows this kid.
Right. Blows my mind that it hasn't happened already.
Right.
I know what he's telling you in therapy is I'm fine and I'm okay, but this is what we're witnessing inside of the household.
Right.
And this is how he's reacting when he can't have access to her.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of off my radar. Like, I don't know how to handle that situation. I can only tell you what I would do in that situation, and we did.
Yeah.
But I would absolutely talk to his fucking therapist. They're a professional, like you, and you're paying for it already. To sit down and book an appointment to take up 1 hour of their time with a whole fucking note of things that's happening.
Yeah.
So that they're aware of what's going on. And then maybe when their therapy sessions happen, they can give the son guidance as to like how to deal with things. But I would remove the internet.
Yes.
And I would take away the bark phone.
Yes.
You're talking about you can't make me. No, the fuck I can't.
Yeah, right.
You may be in the relationship with her still because you didn't get an official closure to the situation, but I can absolutely make you go no contact because I pay for all this shit. But that also doesn't need to be a ugly situation.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I can see how that would be. You want to see? I'll fucking show you that petty mindset. Like, I honestly think that that's probably my response.
Yeah.
That's how I would handle that. I think that even though I know that that's how I handle it, I also know that it's wrong. And the right way would be to be, son, I'm protecting you.
Yes.
Because I don't believe that this is safe for you and I'm doing this for your best interest, and just leave it at that. They're not going to see it that way though.
Right.
So even a non-spicy brained person would not see it that way. At 14 years old, you think you fucking know everything.
Right. I am 100% okay with my children hating me in the moment if it means I'm being a good parent.
Yeah.
I'm here to guide you and protect you, not to be your best friend.
Yeah.
I also would not have gotten this far.
No.
The first time she said, I hurt myself and I'm depressed and all of these kinds of things, I'm taking the phone. I am texting her, this is so-and-so's mother. I need your parents' contact information. You are no longer allowed to talk to my son.
Emma said that some therapists won't meet with the parents, doctor privacy of the child. You're not meeting them to talk about to get information. You're meeting them to give them information.
Right.
The confidentiality means that they can't speak on it.
Right.
But I'm almost positive that when it comes to the child, he's a minor and they don't have that same privilege. I might be wrong on that, but I don't think they do.
They're also allowed to give you pointers.
Right.
And tips. They might not be able to discuss everything that was talked about within the therapy session, but if you come to the child's therapist and say, X, Y, and Z is happening inside of the home and I don't know how to proceed forward, what are some things that I can do? I can't imagine they're like, can't talk to you about that. Figure it out on your own.
Right. You could also, even if they were like that, you could literally just type up everything and hand them a piece of paper and walk away.
Yeah.
Now they have the knowledge that your son's not giving them. All right, let's wrap up for this. We don't have to turn the live off. We'll just mute the mics and put up a break screen.
Okay.
I would like to stretch because my back's hurting, and then we can do a Friday episode and then take a legit break, then go live and then do 2 more episodes.
This was a lot today.
It was. We went longer than an hour for the first time in a while.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
With that being said, guys, remember you are the authors of your own life.
So grab a pen.
And we will see you on the next one.
Bye, guys.